Okay, for preset 1, I have a basic clean. Nothing added to it except for the 3 buffers. So this is how it sounds. You probably tune the guitar a little bit. While I'm tuning, I want to say that the PBC works almost like a regular multi-effect, those that you guys have seen and probably used, where you have a bunch of presets and you go through them, and when you're gonna play a gig, if you have a band, wherever you play, if you already know what you're gonna play, you could go to the program and basically, after you create all your presets, you have to create them. You have to go through that process. You have to go and say, okay, I want to clean with compressor. I want to clean without compressor. I want to clean with delay. I want to clean without the, let's say maybe with reverb, but no delay. I want to clean with both, with delay and with reverb. So those things you have to go through at the beginning. But once you do that, you just have to select them. Let's say you're gonna play a song and you need to use a an overdrive, dry, no reverb, no delay. But then maybe in the chorus you want to get a little bit wet. So you have a preset with the overdrive and a delay. Oh, there's a solo on the bridge. So what you could do is just create another, select another preset that you created with, with a lead tone. In my case, I use another overdrive to boost the amplifier. Okay, so I just tune my guitar. Let me just keep going. Again, this is what you have to do. But right now, I'm just gonna scroll through my presets, and let's go. So this is a clean again. Clean with compressor. Without it. I'm getting a little bit of volume there. That's okay. I'm not gonna complain about it. Let me keep going. Clean with a dotted delay. It doesn't matter in which tempo. The tempo can be assigned. If you're gonna play a song on 140 BPM, you can, every time you go to that song, it'll send the tempo to the timeline, or even to all of the MIDI devices if you wanted all of them to have the tempo. But in this case, this is just the preset. I'm not even sure what the BPM is. Of course, the mix of my delay was down. Right now, I'm not even sure the BPM. 75. Next, a clean with reverb. Probably a clean with both delay and reverb. Okay, this is a bigger reverb. Okay, let's keep going. This is, I don't know why this preset, well, I put it there, but I don't remember when I did it. This is kind of an ambient delay preset, I'm sorry, with the chorale kind of reverb. It's kind of like, it's very wet actually. kind of cool. All right, going to the overdrive. Very dry. So this is the overdrive of the amplifier of the Mesa Lonestar. Okay, so yes, you're hearing the overdrive from the Lonestar with the compressor. Like I said earlier, I always use my compressor. I try to always use it. I want to compress at least a little bit of my tone, just to get an even tone out there on any recording that I do, or if I'm playing live. I want my tone to be consistent. And yeah, that's what I like. Sounds decent. I mean, if I turn off the compressor. On again. Yeah, we're getting more volume. I should have matched the level, but it's totally fine. I'm always using it. I'm not gonna get that jump. This is an overdrive with the A preset on the timeline, which it could be on any BPM again. This is an 8th note delayed with overdrive. And I can control the mix of my delay, always here. That's a lot of delay with reverb. Okay, so this is an lead tone, but dry. So that means I'm using the overdrive of the amplifier with the Maxon OD9 on top. I love that lead tone. It's thick. Still, you can tell apart the notes. Okay, so that's dry. This is wet. Let's say I want more delay. Next is the same lead but with reverb. This is fun. A fuzz lead. I love that lead tone. That's using the hyper fuzz into the overdrive of the amplifier. This is a phaser, clean with phaser. That phaser is in front of the amplifier, coming from the mobius. Next preset is phaser with delay. And then same thing but with reverb, so no delay here. If I ever need that preset, it is there, and if I'm gonna use it on a song, I just have to go to the song section of the program or on the pedal board and just grab that preset and throw it, you know, in that song. So phaser with overdrive. Can't even play anymore. So this is the filter. Sounds pretty good actually. I was very surprised when I started messing around, and this filter goes in front of the amplifier. This is a tremolo. Tremolo with reverb. This this is a preset. I call it Megatron because it sounds like a transformer. See, when I was using it, I never played any chords with it. I actually just used it for like a couple of seconds just to do this. And right there, I would switch to a preset without the tremolo. This is a vibe. I love the vibe of the mobius. Jeez. I mean, it has different modes, but for now, this is the one I really like. Vibe with delay. Vibe with overdrive. Yeah. vibe with overdrive and delay. Oh, this is a lead tone. What do I have there? I have the vibe going into the Maxon OD9 and then into my overdrive from the Lonestar. Man, a lead tone like that would be so cool on a song. I love that tone. So this is the Rotary from the Mobius. I'm totally destroying that tune. I don't even remember it. But that's it. So this is with overdrive. Oh no, Stevie with humbuckers. I'm not gonna murder that song. That's how it sounds. I just want to give you the idea. Okay, so this is a pitch shifter from the Pitchfork. Right now, it's giving me like 2 octaves up and two octaves down. Because I was setting it up for a song that I'm gonna show you guys. I'm just gonna show off the feature of the whammy. But that's not how you will use it. You will use it with some overdrive, and right now the blend is not. It should be all the way up, and it's not. I'm gonna go straight to. So that's the Pitchfork with overdrive. And here is the lead tone. To have the booster is not on, and I'm just gonna play a song that I created just to show off this preset I created. And the idea of it was to get a lead tone with some thickness to it, and on top of that you will hear the octave higher. There are 2 octaves higher. So again, I'm using 2 octaves down and 2 octaves higher, but they should be subtle. I mean, you will hear them, but they won't be overpowering the actual notes of the guitar or my actual tone. And in the middle of the song, I'm gonna shut off the Pitchfork so I can just solo without the Pitchfork. So here we go. So that's the idea. At the beginning of this the song, I had it on to create that melody with a thicker tone, a little bit of chime on top, but and then at the end, you know, I went without it. I didn't want to solo with it. So okay, so that's that preset. Next, I was on loop mode. Now this is the that's the analog delay, the diamond. Right now it's very fast. So listen to the repeats of that delay. It's so warm. So I'm just noodling, just so you can get the idea. This is the same delay, but with reverb. And that delay is not stereo, so it's going right in the middle. Right, what you're hearing right now, it's the reverb, which is a stereo. Analog delay with overdrive. Those repeats are very loud right now. There's a lead tone with that delay. I'm using the boost. Shut it off. I should have done that before. So that's that analog delay. You can make it isolate if you wanted to. It sounds pretty cool. So yeah, that's a very overrated kind of trick with analog delays, but it's always cool to do it, right? Okay, so this is the fuzz going to the overdrive. You already heard this, but again, the lead with the... I cannot get enough of this tone, actually, man. It sings, right? That's with the neck pickup. You need the neck pickup to do that. This is the heavy distortion. Right now that it's set up for the lead tone I had at the beginning of this video. This is the lead tone you heard at the beginning. That was the lead I used. Again, going back to the heavy by itself. A lead tone with the heavy and some reverb. So I'm going to show you this ambient preset that I have. It's a mix of the bigsky and timeline. I love that kind of stuff. Okay, so the previous preset was a mix of the bigsky and the diamond. Now this is a mix of the timeline and the bigsky. This is another ambient preset, but with that chorale reverb. I think I'm using here the analog delay. So I'm gonna move on to the next one. Same preset but with a digital delay, meaning the timeline. It should sound a little bit wider because the timeline is stereo. More volume to the timeline. It's auto, but it's there. The amplifier that I'm using is a Mesa Lonestar Classic, and I'm using it for my clean and for my main overdrive. The pedal board is kind of broken down in two pieces, basically. For my guitar, I go to the wah pedal. It's a custom audio electronics wah pedal. You can get two sounds out of it. It sounds great. From the wah, I go into the Mastermind PBC. From there, loop 1, it's the Electro-Harmonics Pitchfork. It is basically a harmonizer. It could give you octaves up,
down both at the same time, and it could also work as a whammy pedal if you connect an expression pedal on the side of it, and that's the reason why I bought that pedal. It sounds great, and you can get basically two pedals out of one. That's it. Loop 1. Loop 2, it's the strymon mobius. You guys know about all those pedals. The mobius can be used in a couple of ways. It could be used in mono, stereo, and it could be used like I'm using it here. I'm basically breaking it down into two and sending some effects to the front of the amplifier and some effects to the effects loop. Effects like phaser and vibe, rotary, I like those in front of the amplifier. Basically the rest of them are in the effects loop. So yeah, that's on loop 2. Loop 3, I have the Boss Hyper Fuzz. Great sounding fuzz. First time I saw it was from Pete Thorne on his demo, one of these pedal boards a couple of years ago. This pedal sounds dirty, but it can also sing. On loop 4, I have the Maxon OD9, that green pedal that you see on the right corner, top right corner. It's basically a overdrive booster, just like a tube screamer, and I use it to boost my overdrive. The overdrive of my amplifier. That's loop 4. After loop 4, there's an output on the PBC, and I go to this box. It's a Voodoo Lab Hex, gives you 6 audio loops. The first one is completely isolated, which I use for piezo or piezo. The second loop of that little box is the Empress Heavy, and then from there I have a cable going out to another amplifier, a Mark V 25, and then from the output of that box of the Hex, I go in front of the Lonestar. The way I see my rig, like I mentioned earlier, is divided into two: the preamp and everything before it, and whatever is after. In this case, wah, hyperfuzz, pitchfork, Maxon OD9, heavy empress, those things are going in front of the amplifier. On the effects loop of the amplifier, the first thing the signal hits is the Vertex volume pedal. This one is a stereo volume pedal, but I use it in mono. From there, I go back to the Mastermind PBC to loop 5. Loop 5 is the paraeq, very powerful EQ. Some people underestimate the power of an EQ. This one is a great sounding EQ. Very sensitive, but again, great to fix issues on your tone or on the room or anything like that. And then on loop 6, I have the compressor, the Empress compressor. I'm approaching this board like a channel strip of a mixing board where you run all the noise, gain, things like that into an EQ and then a compressor. Some people approach this the other way around, where they have the compressor first and then the EQ. I like the EQ first and then the compressor. I use the compressor basically all the time. I compress my overdrive, and I know that by using the overdrive you are compressing your signal, but even then it could be very dynamic, and it could be very jumpy in terms of volume. I like to have a consistent volume on stage, and I'm sure the sound guy will really appreciate that. On loop 7, I have the mobius, the other side of the mobius. The effects that go in the effects loop are in loop 7. Things like chorus, tremolo, things like that, those are in loop 7. On loop 8, I have the Diamond Memory Lane 2. This is an all analog delay pedal with a tap tempo. It sounds great, very warm, pretty cool. On loop 9, I have the Strymon Timeline, digital delay, and on loop 10, I have the bigsky. Those two are running in stereo. So that's it for the signal path. So now I would like to talk about the Mastermind PBC. This unit is very powerful. It's basically a full-blown MIDI controller and an audio loop switcher combined in one. This one has 10 true bypass loops divided into basically 3 groups. The first group is from loop 1 to loop 4. The second group is from 5 to 6. And the third group is from loop 7 to loop 10. The last 4 loops can be used in mono or stereo, and those also can be switched between series and parallel. Before I continue, I would like to really quick explain the concept of series and parallel. Many people know this, but I'm sure there's a lot that still don't know this. So I'd like to take a moment to explain it. In series, the signal of your guitar goes into an effect pedal. In this case, I'm using the timeline and bigsky because that's what I'm using in parallel. The signal of your guitar goes into the effect, and inside the pedal, the signal is being mixed with the actual effect. In the case of the timeline, your signal is being mixed with the delay, and that's what you're hearing in the output. In the case of the bigsky, it's the same thing. What you're hearing is the signal of your guitar mixed with the reverb. In the parallel, there should be a splitter before the effect pedals. The PBC has one, and it basically splits your signal into two. One signal goes unaffected. This is also known as dry signal, meaning nothing touched it. It goes straight to the output. The other signal goes through the effects, but you need to eliminate the dry signal going out of these pedals, these effects. These two strymons, they can eliminate the dry signal going out. And the signal that comes in triggers the effect, and that's what you're hearing. But you don't want to hear the actual dry signal or the guitar signal coming through this effect because you already have it in the other side of the splitter. So at the end, you're hearing the effect being triggered by your dry signal. So at the end, you hear the effects mixed with an unaffected dry signal. And this is pretty cool. I find that this gives you a more pure tone. Now, it doesn't mean that if you don't have this parallel setup, you don't sound good. Not at all. I've been using a serious setup for years now, and I never complained about it. But now I have this parallel setup, and I can definitely hear a difference. I hear my tone coming more pure and just like that, unaffected. Like if there's no effects in between. But like on the side, you hear the effects. It's kind of weird to explain, but it's that. So going back to the features of the PBC, the unit has 3 audio buffers that can be assigned to presets. Buffers are very, very important when you have a lot of cables in between your guitar and your amplifier. It basically boosts your signal so it remains strong until it reaches your amplifier. It's very important to have buffers. Those buffers can be assigned to presets, and like I said, there are 3 buffers. One before loop 1, there's another one before loop 7, and there's another one after loop 10. So basically the last loop, there's a buffer there. It also has click stopper to eliminate any noise when switching between audio loops. If you are familiar with audio switchers or loop switcher or loopers, sometimes they make noises when you switch between loops or presets. The PBC also has a built-in tuner. It works very good. I wouldn't recommend you to try and intonate your guitar with it, but it definitely works if you want to tune your guitar very quick on stage. You don't need another tuner on your pedal board. This one should be fine. The PBC has a MIDI in and out. You can control MIDI devices, and also the PBC can be controlled by an external pedal. It also has a USB port to connect your PC or Mac. This is to configure it if you decide to do it with the software PBC editor. It also has another USB port to connect like a flash drive, and that is so you can either restore a configuration, you can perform firmware upgrades, you can do backups if you need to. This is very useful because you could be on the road, and if you need to perform a backup or restore, or even if you want to upgrade your PBC, you could do it with a flash drive. That's cool. The PBC also has 2 1/4 inch TRS jacks for function switches. These can be used to control channels of your amplifier or other features such as reverb, effects loop, boost, etc. It also has an expression pedal input that can be programmed to generate MIDI messages. In other words, you can connect one expression pedal to it and then program the device to send expression MIDI messages to a device that you would like to control. For example, I normally control the mix of my delay on the timeline with the expression pedal. I don't need to connect an expression pedal directly to it. I could do that through MIDI. Also, I could control, let's say, the decay of the reverb that I'm using on a preset of the bigsky, but it's not limited to that. As long as it receives MIDI messages and you can control it with an expression pedal, you could do it through the PBC. Connect one expression pedal to it, and from there you go. Pretty cool. I'm not using it that way. I am going directly to the strymon timeline, but that's just me for now. I haven't experimented with these functions. The PBC also has an external switch input that allows two switches to be added. Basically, you can program. You could have an external switch to do anything inside of the PBC. Let's say you have an external switch going somewhere else just to activate a preset, or to bank up or down, or you want a tap tempo somewhere else, let's say backstage. You could do that with this external switch input. For patch cables, I've been using the Lava Mini ELC soldered version. I soldered all those cables. Right now they are a mess underneath, but it's okay for now. I don't plan to build a very pretty board. I think having a board like that where all the cables are like precisely cut to length, they look good, but we guitar players change our mind too often, and sometimes we like to try new pedals and things like that. So I would hate to have to be, breaking down the board all the time just to try a new pedal, or just to troubleshoot maybe a problem that you're having, just to swap out a pedal or things like that. So my approach to this board is basically, I'm just gonna connect the cables that they look okay, somewhat tight underneath, but not pretty. I am powering this board with a Voodoo Lab Mondo. It supplies all the power needed to power up this board. On the right side of the pedal board, underneath, I have a small box made by LoopMaster. It's basically a patch box that connects all the cables that go in or out of the pedal board. It's very convenient to have one of those because you just have to connect cables in one place. This one is not active, it's only passive, it's only connecting cables inside, that's all. The MIDI cables I'm using are made by One Control, and they're pretty cool because they are reversible. If you have dealt with MIDI cables before, especially the ones that are 90-degree angled, you know that sometimes you have to have one looking up, or basically that the cable comes up. If you are using the in and out MIDI ports, or in MIDI through, in the case of the strymons, sometimes one of the cables is basically coming up. With these cables, you can just basically remove the cover on the back, switch the cable around, screw it back in, and that's it. They don't use a lot of space. They're very, very convenient. Good job, guys, at One Control. I really love those cables. So to finish up, I'd like to say that I'm really enjoying this pedal board. Thanks to the RJM Mastermind PBC, I can control all these pedals and make this whole board work like if it was a multi-effect, like an all-in-one multi-effect. I can control anything. It allows me to do so many things, and at the same time it sounds great. So I'm very happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time.